Hi and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be looking at 4 exercises to help you strengthen and activate the gluteus medius. So the glute med is responsible for hip abduction and of course it stabilizes the hips. So weak glutes is specifically a glute medius muscle. It could be seen in many different ways. It can be seen as what we call the Trendelenburg gait. This would look something like this. So every time they walk, it is like a drop. It could be on either side, or it could be on just the one side that has that weak glute med. So this side is unable to level up, and that tells you that the glute med is not doing its job to keep the hips leveled. What the glute med does is that the moment that your hip wants to drop, this glute med will push it up, and that one will do the same to keep your hips leveled as you're walking. The second sign is also when you are experiencing knee valgus or internal rotation of the knee as you're walking. It may not be a big thing, like it may not look like a huge movement. It may be very subtle, but you could see that the right knee or the left knee is going in. And one way you could observe that is if you just put a camera in front of you, just film yourself walking towards it and just notice if your knees or one on each side tends to move inward as you're walking. You can also see signs of weak glute med during exercise. For example, again, you can experience this knee valgus or internal rotation of the knee when you're squatting. So every time you're squatting, you could either both knees or just one knee goes down. Sometimes it's both knees that come in and they would meet in the middle. And a lot of times what happens is that people will again be squatting on their feet and their heels would come off of the ground or the floor. So either both or just one knee going in. Another sign is also, again, during exercise, if you're trying to do the lunge exercise, glute medius weakness could be seen as having one knee coming inwards instead of just staying aligned with your foot. So make sure to go through a few of these exercises and just notice if there are any imbalances that you notice. And if you do experience piriformis pain or hip pain in general, doing exercises to strengthen and activate the glute med is always beneficial. So I'm going to be showing you 5 exercises that I absolutely love and that I include in all of my leg workouts and also rehab routines that will activate this muscle and just help you get relief. And these will also help correct these imbalances so that when you are working out, you are doing the exercises properly, because if you're squatting with bad form, if you're lunging with bad form, that could easily turn into an acute injury. So in a couple of these exercises, I'm gonna be using a resistance band, provides additional resistance. So the first exercise is gonna be the side to side walk. So first, let me show you how to do this exercise properly. You wanna make sure that your feet are pointing forward, and it could help to place your hands on your glutes, and then you're going to keep that tension going while you walk sideways. Make sure that there is tension on the glutes. You can also get into the squatting position or just lowering your body down into that hip hinge position to train your body to bend over properly, especially if you do experience that knee valgus we've talked about earlier. Very important thing, if you have piriformis pain, make sure that you're not rotating your leg out. You know that the piriformis is always getting triggered by almost anything. It's just such a tiny nagging muscle that just, it's so frustrating when you have piriformis syndrome. Anything could really make it worse. So by keeping your feet forward, you avoid engaging the piriformis that much. The next exercise is gonna be hip drops. You're gonna have your hand just for support, not gonna be pushing against the wall. And we're gonna lift one leg up. So immediately by lifting this leg up, it's going to drop. So make sure you engage your core for stability. So this will drop. So what we're gonna do is we wanna train this area to level up the hips by pushing it up. And immediately by pushing it up, it's going to touch the wall. So we're gonna let this hip drop, but engage this glute med and push it in until this hip touches the wall. And we're going to repeat that. But keep the contraction here. Don't lose the contraction. Make sure that this glute is engaged throughout this exercise. So drop, and I'm gonna push in until this right hip touches the wall. And we're gonna do the other side again. We're gonna let this hip drop, and we're gonna push against this one until the left one touches the wall. Keep the contraction here. You can even feel the muscle working by placing your hand on the side area of your glute. So the next exercise that I love to do is the bridge with the band again. So we are gonna be working the glutes, the glute max, glute med, and having the band is going to, again, to provide that resistance to activate the gluteus medius. Make sure your core is engaged, glutes engaged, no tension on the lower back. Breathe deeply, push against the heel up, contract, and down. Again, without having that band around our thighs, it's easy to, again, have the knees come in inward. So by pressing against the band out, we immediately engage the glute med. The next exercise is gonna be the wall slide. So make sure that your back, your glutes, and your feet are touching the wall here. And then you're just going to slide up and down. So we're performing that hip abduction here, but we're keeping everything nicely aligned. There's no rotation. The moment you start to rotate your hips, you're not gonna feel the wall anymore. So you're gonna bring yourself back into that proper alignment. So just slide up and slowly down. Again, if you have piriformis pain, this is a great exercise to do for that, but a lot of people, they don't do it because they say that it makes the pain worse. But I personally think it's because it's the bad form that makes this exercise sometimes not work. It's not the exercise itself. All right, so the next exercise is gonna be the side lunge. And we don't really train the body laterally. We don't do enough lateral exercises, and I think that it's very important that we have to train the body in different planes of motion. And we are going to get into that side lunge here. Very small movement. You don't wanna be, if you can't get low that much, that's fine. And back, controlled. Make sure that your knee is not going inward. If it is, then you want to go back and do the activation exercises that I showed you before this exercise. This is what we do at the end to integrate the muscle with the other muscles so that they're all working together. Other side. Make sure that you do these exercises at least 3 times a week, and you want to always keep that contraction in. You want to repeat each repetition for about 12 to 15 reps. But of course, if you feel any kind of pain, just take a break and resume the exercise. For the resistance bands, I use the fabric resistance band, which I will have the link below, but you can also use just the regular rubber band as long as they provide enough resistance and you can feel them around your thighs. So I'm gonna have the link to the blog post below this video with all of the details, the PDFs for the exercises as well. And I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you very soon in a new video.